So 6 years ago, if you would have asked me what my favorite muscle was, I probably would have went like this and started talking about the palmus longaris and how it's missing in 14% of the human population. Today, if you were to ask me what my favorite muscle was, it would be an all-around different story. Based on name alone, I would probably say purple warty back, or the stuff box, or the pistol grip, or the heel splitter. These muscles aren't found in the human body, though. No, these muscles are arguably much cooler and more than just the names. These are freshwater muscles, and prior to the 20th century, they would have carpeted our river bottoms, providing a firm, natural structure where it would have otherwise just been sand, silt, or clay. And an animal that has more species in the United States and Canada than any other place in the world, with over 300 species of freshwater mussel. Now, if you grew up along the Mississippi River or any fresh body of water for that matter, you've probably seen the remnants of an animal that once was, right? These little shells. These incredible little booger-filled rock-looking things, however, are one of the most imperiled groups of animals on this planet. Now, I first learned about freshwater mussels from my now colleague whose passion for these animals was infectious. Pair that infectious learning with the feeling I had the first time holding a federally endangered mussel, and I was hooked. It starts with the life cycle, right? So the male releases sperm into the water, and think about that the next time you guys are swimming, where downstream and somewhere in the water column, the female will uptake this sperm, right? And then these fertilized eggs become glycidia. And like not coming into contact with your baby daddy wasn't wild enough, it gets more wild with these glycidia. So female mussels have these lures that resemble minnows, crayfish, and worms to lure in a unsuspecting fish. And when they get close enough, the female mussel will release these glycidia into the water where they'll attach to the fish's gills. And that is just wild there. Now, some of these mussels have a specific fish hosts, meaning that mussel needs a specific fish in order for the glycidia to attach to. Like, the evolutionary adaptations there are just mind-blowing. Now, once these baby mussels get big enough, they'll fall off the fish's gills into the substrate below and attach by byssal thread. At the River Museum, we outgrow endangered mussels. In June through October, we will load up these cages with inoculated strips, and these cages, right, have substrate-filled bottoms. Now, I'm a beginner at best when it comes to the world of freshwater bivalves, and all of what I've know, or a lot of what I've know, come from who I consider experts with the Genoa Fish Hatchery and the River Museum's very own. So we fill these cages with inoculated fish, and they'll hang out there for a couple of months, and these glycidia will get bigger and bigger until they're those baby mussels, and they'll fall off into the substrate below. And this is Megan with Genoa putting inoculated fish. Then in October, we come together and we sift through the most smelly, stinkiest stuff you can imagine. But I love it. I absolutely love it. This is a time where I can get dirty as hell. I learn, I make new friends, I catch up with people that I respect, and I'm finding endangered baby mussels. During those same months of June through October, I'm also babysitting some mussels on the lower dock. And every week at the same time, at the same place, you can find me jamming out on the lower dock using what I call a thingamabob to record how big these babies get. Now, the animals that I babysit are held in subsea buckets, you can see over there, that are covered in river grossness and awesomeness. I mean, look at how wild these freshwater bryozoans, which are in microscopic aquatic invertebrate that grow on the outside of these buckets. Okay, enough about alien jellies. Mussels, right? They're so intriguing, no? Yes, and we need them, actually. We need them. They're an indicator of water quality. So they're filter feeders. As they're filtering the water, as they feed, breathe, and reproduce, they're filtering out all of these nasty things. And what's really cool is you can tell the age of them too. Just like you would count the rings on a tree, if you count the darker lines of a mussel shell, you can gauge the age of that, which is wild. Now, some of these mussels can live up to up to 100 years doing this. Not to mention, they're culturally significant too. The indigenous peoples, particularly the mound-building tribes of the Midwest, use mussels for a plethora of things, everything from jewelry to utensils. And of course, in the late 1800s, there was the very unsustainable pearl button industry, with the capital being at one point in Muscatine, Iowa. And this man is standing on all dead mussels that have been punched with to make these beautiful pearl buttons. That went out of style in the early 1900s to plastic. But that isn't the only threat. They now have to battle with zebra mussels. And then add to the list of habitat loss, fish dams, or fish being restricted by dam passage, and also toxic water, warming water, and droughts, to the many things that, again, make them one of the most imperiled animals on Earth. So just as much as we're the cause of their impending doom, we are the solution. We are the hope, like we so often are. So being good stewards of our waterways starts on land, and everybody can do that, even if you don't own land. Advocate for native plants that help filter pollutions and slow erosion, and that take out our unnecessary dams to allow fish passage. Now, just like our livers are working hard for us tonight with all these cocktails we may have had, I hope tomorrow and every day that we help our rivers' livers, because we need them. Thank you.